Konnichiwa, bitches! Hello and welcome to the Furry Wrestling Review with your host, me, Catpool. We are going over the pay-per-view from WWE from this past Sunday. Sorry this is a couple days late. My camera was crapping out on me, and I've just got a ton of work with school and everything, so I hope you enjoyed it anyways. So, we're talking about the pay-per-view Great Balls of Fire. Yes, it's still a name that they're using. It's so stupid. But anyways, we get right into the pre-show. We got the Cruiserweight Championship match between Neville versus Akira Tozawa with Titus O'Neil. Neville is a great heel, and Tozawa, is pretty equal in movesets. Neville controls most of the beginning part of the match, and the highlights were, Tozawa does a double dive through the ropes. So quick. It was so quick and fast. It was kind of cool looking. Tozawa gets caught in the air by Neville and turns it into an octopus stretch on Neville, which was kind of cool. Neville pulled a twisting flip from the second rope, which was kind of neat, and Tozawa countered with the Shining Wizard and a senton from the top rope. Ending wasn't too great. Tozawa gets crotched on the top rope. Didn't look very convincing. Neville kicks the top rope to inflict more damage. Finishes off Tozawa in the ring, and Neville gets the win. So now we get to the opening of the show. WWE shows the card of all the old-timey movie clip styles, like at a drive-in, super cornball, to go with the pay-per-view. First match is Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins. Why? Who knows? It's just like they're trying to keep him busy or something and keep him out of the title picture for the moment because they got those other guys doing stuff. Bray comes out first, and fireflies everywhere. Bray looks like he's gained a little bit of weight. And it was a good physical start to the match. Bray doing the hoodoo voodoo stuff. I'm still a Bray fan. And I just really hate how they've dropped the ball so many times when they could have, put him onto the top and gotten some big bucks out of it, So anyways, the highlights of the match was, you see Bray running tackle outside sends Seth through the barricade. Bray does a superplex to Seth. Bray does a spike DDT to Seth on the apron, which looked pretty cool. Rollins hits a suicide dive because everybody's got to dive these days. And the top rope bounce clothesline to Bray. He hits a sing blade into the blockbuster, which was kind of nice. I like the blockbuster. It's one of my moves that I used to use when I was playing, my PS games for, wrestling games. I always use the blockbuster. Bray goes for Sister Abigail and doesn't get it. He tries a suplex, and Seth turns it into a Falcon Arrow, which was kind of neat, especially giving the weight difference between those two. And Seth was actually able to get him up and over for the Falcon Arrow. We go into a Uranagi from Bray. He starts slapping Seth around. Seth gets pissed off. He rolls out while Seth's punching through the ropes, and Bray does an eye jab to Seth while he's standing there on the other side of the ropes. And so Bray gets in there, hits Sister Abigail for the win. On the replay, you can see that his thumb was nowhere near the eye because you hear the announcers going, "Thumb to the eye! Thumb to the eye!" And it was like nowhere near the thumb to the eye. It was like face palm to the face. That's what it was. Next up, we get a Charlie interview with Matt and Jeff. Matt is letting the broken stuff slip out more and more here and there, which is awesome. And those of you who watched Raw saw that they even brought some more of it out. I'm so glad that they did that. Okay, so the next match was the Enzo versus Kaz match. We had a promo for it. Enzo comes out first, cuts a great promo. Crowd pops many times for him. Kaz comes out with his new heel music, which was kind of generic. Something you find off of YouTube royalty-free stuff, So, but that's how it goes, I guess. These guys don't have time to be very creative in their music anymore these days. Only very few and far between get it. So the highlights was basically Cass starts the beatdown. We get the asshole chants to Cass. Let's go Enzo chants from the crowd. Cass presses him and throws him down to the floor from over the top ropes. Gets a 9 count. he makes his way back in. Cass shakes his head and gives him the big boot to Enzo. Cass takes the win. Pretty much a squash. We see a Kurt Angle promo come up next for the package for Homecoming, which was his story basically on the network. And then the next match we get is the 30-minute Iron Man match for the tag team titles between the Hardys versus Sheamus and Cesaro. Hardys come out to a buttload of delete chants. So for the highlights, we also had like Brother Nero chants and everything else for them. The highlights of the match, we had Sheamus and Cesaro get a quick first pin, which I missed because I was out in a smoke break. Because I didn't think the match was going to get very heavy right off the bat. I guess he did Sheamus landed a road kick right off the bat to get the first pin. We got Brother Nero chants right after that. Matt slams Sheamus head on apron to delete chants over and over, which was kind of nice. Double team white noise on Jeff for the second fall for Cesaro and Sheamus. That was kind of neat too. So we get the Hardys get their first fall after Matt gets tagged in. He hits a side effect with a twist of fate. Third win by count after Cesaro slams Matt's head on the outside corner post. Hardys get second pin by Jeff after Matt does a double arm backslide with leg pin. Good back and forth at the 5-minute mark. Tornado DDT by Matt to Sheamus. 2.5 count moonsault by Matt. Cesaro saves. Matt twist of fate to Sheamus from the top rope. Jeff goes for Swanton. Cesaro drags Sheamus out, and Jeff dive crashes them from top rope. Misses Hardy's third pin somewhere in this spot. I missed it there somewhere. Matt and Jeff both top rope splash to Sheamus, which was really cool. It was kind of like, oh god, it was kind of like half of a 4-post massacre. I tell you, it was kind of cool. And so Matt, somewhere along here, Matt got cut above his eye, and he was bleeding hard. His whole face was crimson. Let's see, we get Swanton from Jeff. Cesaro slides in and steals the win on Jeff. I never saw them tag. They were saying that Cesaro was the legal man after Jeff hit the Swanton on Sheamus, and I never saw a tag. I was watching the match at that point, but they just said that Cesaro was the legal man, and so that left it about a minute and a half left over there. Time runs out as Jeff hits a twist of fate to tie, and there was 2 seconds left, and didn't make the pin. So Cesaro and Sheamus win with the 4-3. We get a Rusev match promo, Cena Rusev match promo. Once again, Cena doing his verbal blackface, and I heard these guys talking about that on Wrestling Soup. He's the only one that seems to be getting away with doing this verbal blackface thing. And if it was anybody else, there'd be an uproar. It's ridiculous, crazy. So the next match is the Women's Championship match: Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks. One of the funniest things I heard was Corey saying, Alexa's the type of woman that will stab you in the back and you'll ask her to autograph the handle. I thought that was funny. So let's get to the highlights. It was a slow start to the match. Sasha slams Alexa's face first. Alexa plays the double joint arm to sneak in the free shot. The double joint thing that she did on SmackDown against Becky Lynch. And the announcers acted like they'd never seen it before. Like, what do you guys don't watch what's going on the other show? Idiots. Sasha takes a bad hit on the apron, and Alexa works the back for a while. At least they didn't have a whole, every match working knees this time. So Alexa whiplashes the knee to 2 knees to Sasha, brutal looking. Alexa hits Sun Flip the power bomb, which was kind of neat looking. Alexa goes Twisted Bliss. Knees up by Sasha into bank statement. Rope break. Alexa stays outside to count out, so she stays champ. Sasha attacks her after the match, and they work their way up the ramp, up to the announcer table. And Sasha does a double knees to Alexa down on the floor. But it was like, as Grim and those guys were saying, it was a solid steel cooter to the face. Because her knees didn't even hit her. It's like her crotch hit her right in her muff. Muff to muff. Solid steel cooter to the face. Okay, next match. Intercontinental Championship. Miz and Maurice with the Miztourage versus Dean Ambrose. We knew what this was going to be. We've seen this match. I'm so sick of seeing Ambrose and Miz fight. I just can't take it anymore. And Bo Dallas the other week was dressed in a suit and looked good because they looked like they belonged to be part of the Miztourage or whatever. Now this week on this pay-per-view, he came out looking like somebody who's ready to join Bret Michaels on stage. You know, wearing like this golden pants and 80s rocker look kind of thing. It was not really fitting for what they're representing to be. The highlights of this match was Dean goes after the Miztourage at the beginning, and then scoots back in to fight Miz, scoots back out and take on the Miztourage. Miz works the knee. Dean's bleeding in his mouth. Miz gets figure four. Yes, kicks by Miz. Maurice gets involved. Miztourage drags Dean out, and he beats them all. And Dean hits Dirty Deeds. Maurice puts foot on the rope. The Miztourage then do their heel tactics. They hit Dean and they do their whole spiel of getting the ref's attention over on one side of the ring and whatever. Miz gets the win. So I'm hoping that this dies here. I do not want to see another match between Dean Ambrose and The Miz. Next up, we have the ambulance match with Braun Strowman versus Booplex City, Roman Reigns. Highlights for the match. Braun comes out first to a huge pop. Next out is Booplex City, and the crowd boos hard. And I was listening, as I'm watching the pay-per-view, I listened to the sound, and as soon as the boos start, I hear the audience level drop down, and his music gets louder to try to drown it out. It's Kevin Dunn once again. Dun 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 dun. Yep. Anyway, so Braun dominates most of the match at the beginning. Braun takes steps. He takes the steps and starts beating Roman with them. Reigns tries for a comeback, but Braun does the front face choke slam on him. Starts towards the ambulance. Reigns gets back in. He starts working the surgery elbow. He uses a chair on it. Then he hits Braun with a chair on a good arm, which doesn't even faze him. And he's like, "Hit me again!" And he absorbs another one. He just looks like he's pissed. He takes a chair and beats up Roman more. Goes up the ramp to the announcer table. Roman launched into the ambulance again. 2 Superman punches to Braun, almost in the ambulance. Braun smashes Roman with a backboard from inside the ambulance, pulls it out, hits Roman twice with it. Crowd's pumped for that. Roman pushes Braun through the LED wall, which was it was okay, but the sound effects sounded cool. Roman hits Braun with one of the light fixtures down by the ambulance. And he went for the spear and misses and ends up in the ambulance. Braun closes the door and wins the match. And so right after that, Roman comes out and spears Braun from the ambulance, out the door from the ambulance, and then beats him up, puts him in the ambulance, takes the driver out, and takes off with the ambulance. He drives out, then backs into a truck, smashing the ambulance. This would be like attempted vehicular homicide, I guess, if it was in the real world. But anyway, so he drives back, smashing the ambulance. Angle shows up, flabbergasted. Jamie Noble and the crew are trying to get Braun out. They call for another ambulance and fire truck guys and stuff. And then so the company throws an impromptu match to cover time, because we still got some time left before the main event. So they throw Kurt Hawkins out there and Heath Slater. The Hawkins. And I got kids, Heath Slater. Use the cover of time, and then they go split screen. We want Rhino chance. The more ambulances arrive, they end the match quickly with Heath Slater. The whole production was a botch. I mean, the way they ran the cameras and everything, it was ridiculous. And they cut to the ambulance. Fire rescue uses the jaws of life to open the door. Braun comes out angry and bleeding and stumbling, say, "Leave me alone," and stumbles off. So now they go to waste time at 10:44 at night, meaning this must mean Brock and Samoa Joe are going to be a short match. And so they continue showing some replays and idiot stuff like that. So we get to the main event. Lesnar versus Joe. Samoa Joe for Brock Lesnar versus Samoa Joe. And they show a promo package before that to waste some more time. It is now 10:52. So that leaves us 8 minutes for the match. Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar. Joe comes out first to Joe chants, and then actually Brock comes out to a big pop, like a face pop almost. Brock looks in great shape, though he does. I mean, Samoa Joe attacks from behind during the introduction for the match, and they work their way outside, and Joe Uranagi's Brock through the Spanish announcer table, which was pretty cool looking. Totally takes Brock by surprise, and the match hasn't even started yet, so this was before they even rang the bell. We get the Joe's Gonna Kill You chant start happening. Brock works his way back in the ring. The bell rings. Joe and both of them start going back and forth, beating the crap out of each other. Joe locks in the Coquina Clutch. Brock drives Joe to the turnbuckle, and then Suplex City starts. 1, 2, and 3. Joe grabs the ref and low blows Brock, and then does a Uranagi on him inside the ring. We get a 2 count, and Joe goes for the Coquina Clutch again. Brock gets out. Joe gets it again and locks it in. Brock sidewalk slams Joe. Suplex City starts again. 1, 2, and 3. He goes for the F5, and Joe locks in the clutch again. Turns Brock purple. Then all of a sudden, boom, out of nowhere, Brock almost fades and quickly gets the F5 for the win. And so ends the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view. And I would give this probably, once again, I'll give it a 3 out of 5 tacos. There was some great spots in the matches. And, but overall, I thought it was okay. They could have done more. I mean, there was a lot of botchy production and some misses here and there on timing and stuff like that. But you'll have that. Other than that, I will see you guys on the next pay-per-view in, I think it's a Battleground, in a couple weeks here. Other than that, you guys have a good time, good night, good day, wherever you're at in this world. And Catpool out. Oh yeah, I wanted to say the shirt that you see me wearing right now, I want to give a big shout out to Anthony Missionary Thomas and Joey Numbers from Wrestling Soup. It is one of my favorite podcasts to listen to weekly. They're on Thursday nights at 9:30. You can go check them out at WrestlingSoup.com. They're on Mixler, Spreaker, a whole bunch of other places. But once again, that's Wrestling Soup. Check them out, and they're really, really fun to listen to. Mish is great. He's got a great voice. He's very well knowledgeable. Joe is very knowledgeable about the wrestling scene. Sometimes he's got the I hate everything attitude, but he does have a lot of good stuff and information to add to the conversations. So other than that, you guys have a great one, and I'll see ya. Catpool out. Bye!